Have you ever popped out of a patch of bracken, applied warp stabilizer to a clip in Premiere, only for it to look like absolute rubbish, all warpy, unusable? In this 5-minute tutorial, I'm going to share my simple method for making beautiful stabilized footage, both in Premiere and then towards the end of the video in DaVinci Resolve as well. Let's get going. We're going to start off with the fastest lighting tutorial you've ever had. Check this out. That goes there, so that gives me an eye light, but it also means, because the sun is coming in and out behind clouds, it means the lighting looks nice, whatever happens. So that means you don't have to block out the natural light. Anyway, here we are in Premiere Pro. I've just chosen a 8-second clip from a shoot in London. It's one of my final pieces to camera where I'm filming holding the FX30 outstretched in my hand. And so there's a lot of kind of nasty, kind of jittery wobble, even with the sensor stabilization on, because it doesn't, doesn't do everything. And so here is the clip for you to see. Blame you lot to some extent, because making this video and needing to do piece to cameras definitely adds a bit of time. Okay, I'll mute it now. You don't need to ever hear that again. So there's obviously quite a lot of nasty wobble. So first of all, we select the clip and then we go to effects and down to my favorites. We go to warp stabilizer, apply it to the clip, and now it's analyzing. So first of all, we'll just see what it does on default settings. Magic, it's done instantly. So here it is on default settings. So the first thing I've noticed is it's zoomed in to 108%, which is quite big. You don't really want to be cropping that much onto a 4K image, obviously, because it will be nowhere near 4K anymore. So that's the first thing to note, but then let's have a look at what it did. So it looks pretty bad. See how the whole background is all kind of going, and sometimes on certain clips you see it kind of doing the zooming in and zooming out and all that business. It's a nightmare. I've just found that it's mostly with handheld shots that it really struggles with and just doesn't seem to be able to do it, in my opinion. So what you do is you go to the settings, leave it on smooth motion. You turn the smoothness down to only 3%. You can even go lower. You put the method to position. You put the framing to stabilize only. And now what you need to do is you need to skim through the clip and see the black bars that are coming on the left and the top. So that's where it's moving the image to stabilize it. You don't have to worry too much because you can always tweak it after. Find where it's the most extreme, like there for the top. And then I move the image up to split the difference. And then I'm going to zoom a tiny bit to lose those black bars. And now I skim through the clip again. Oh, there's a tiny bit left. So I'm just going to move the image a tiny zoom to get rid of that. And now we see if there's any left. So there's no black edges coming in anywhere now. Skimming through it. So now, check this out. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's a lot better. I've come to this method after quite a bit of experimenting because there's a few different settings you can tweak, but whenever I've tried anything else, it never works as well as this. So the default settings do work for lots of shots. So for example, if I just take you back to here, this shot here. See, this clip had a tiny little wobble right in the middle of it. That's all it had. And I put warp stabilizer on the clip, left it on default settings, and it just completely fixed the clip with the minimum amount of zoom. So there's lots of times when it works absolutely perfectly and you don't have to do anything. You just apply it and that's it, it's done. So very rarely there seems to be clips that just aren't fixable with warp stabilizer in Premiere. So I've got a second alternative method if you find yourself in that position. I've probably only had to do this about 4 or 5 times in my life, but it works. It's always fixed them. So if you go to DaVinci Resolve and then you drag the same clip down to the timeline, make sure it's selected, and then this window on the top right, you scroll down through transform, cropping, dynamic zoom, down to stabilization, click stabilize. So DaVinci Resolve doesn't tell you the percentage that it's zoomed in. So the crucial thing here is going to this cropping ratio slider and going all the way up to 0.95 0.5. So that's basically making it a similar kind of zoom level to the method in Warp Stabilizer in Premiere. So just making it have a very tiny amount of zoom. So then you click Stabilize again. And that's not bad. That is it for this tutorial. I hope it was useful to someone, somewhere out there. Until next time, see you later.